Right, so hello everybody, and in today's video we're starting off the video by pulling this slurry pipe out of the slurry pit, and we're going to put a slip knot round the end and tow it up to that mere right over there, which has got probably that tanker load of water in it. So if you watch my previous slurry spreading, me dealing with the thick crust in the slurry lagoon, it's not looking much better, to be honest. There's some more silage appeared there, but it wants as much water as we can get. So to do that, we're going to fetch that load of water from over there. So, well, they're in the pipe over there, so I need to steal this slurry pipe. So while I'm not currently pumping slurry out, I'm just going to drag it up there with a JCB, just because it's easier and it's all uphill. And this pipe's 25 foot long, so yeah, it takes some pulling, back-breaking work. Just may as well use the machines to do it. So I'm going to put a slip knot around that now and tie it to the bale spark and just drag it up the field. Right, so here we are. This is our old field mere. It's full of very dirty, manky water, which... take this off, because it is quite cold. It's a really cold wind, to be honest with you. It's like a bitterly cold, chill, easterly wind. Not good for up here, where it'll burn everything off. But it's very manky and dirty, as you can see. It's not very clean, that. Basically, it's what cows used to drink out of before there were mains water in the fields. Like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago. This is probably 100 years old, this mere. But it serves a purpose for us at the minute, because when we're short of water in the slurry, just come and take that out, sort that out. But it does need to be emptied anyway before the cows go out. So the cows are all the way down there. So we're going to put that pipe in, go back, swap the JCB for the tractor and slurry tanker, and then we'll pump that out, and then we'll come back for the pipe another time or whatever. But yeah, we'll do that now. Which, in all fairness, it has dried up a lot. I mean, all this ground here gets really wet in winter, but it's dried up so much that my dad and my brother have managed to roll it. You know, that's very much unheard of at this time of the year. So, yeah, they've taken advantage of this dry weather we're having. But do that. But yeah, it's just a lack of grass growth at the minute. It won't be. We're nearly 1,000 feet above sea level here, so grass doesn't come till a bit later. You know, whereas all your dairy men down south and what have you that are on the flat lowlands and no hills or anything like that, all have lots more grass, and it won't take grass much to get going. Whereas us, it's a bit colder, grass growth's a bit slower at this time of year. So yeah, but we'll crack on. cows drinking this water, so either way, even if we didn't want the water in the slurry pit, this still would have to be empty, because that's not clean water, like. But you can tell how dirty it is by how it's just going up the side tube on the tanker. Might just have to move that pipe in a bit deeper, actually. It's all its length back against that side. We'll see in a minute. It's always a bit give and take what it might reveal, what's in the bottom. But there should be a good full, I'd say a good full tanker full out of this mirror. It's half full now. But there'll be probably a lot of sediment in the bottom of that. So it's whirlpooling round there. So we've got out as much as we can really, there's a bag in there, so I've got in there, but there's a lot of mud in the bottom of that. You've got no way of getting it out again, it's just mud. So yeah, we've got a good tanker full, well, very nearly a tanker full, but you can tell it's not clean water that. I mean, to be fair, the inside of the tanker will be muck that's in there, so it's just really washing the tanker out, but still, you won't want to drink that, so you won't want cows drinking that. So, either way, it wanted emptying. But yeah, on to the next job. Let's go and blow it into the slurry pit. thick stuff out of there, spread. Currently got a slurry tanker, 399 loading. Got 390 up there, steering away. It is very, very thick. So we are pumping slurry, so it's been 2 weeks since, well, nearly about 2.5 weeks actually, since we had the lime spread on the 3 fields that we put silage. We haven't had much rain in them 3 weeks, but I did ask them, and they said we need to leave it at 2 weeks, really ideally, after putting lime on, putting slurry on. So, while it's dry, it's been over the 2 week period now, we're going to slurry on to it. So, this is actually load number 2. I've been with 1 load already. I didn't dare do that on camera in case it was wet, because the field we're doing is the wettest field we mow, and by God it does get wet. So all of our ground is fairly dry, but that particular field is very wet normally. Just because it holds water for some weird reason. Many years ago it will mine fluorspar, so if you don't know what that is, it's basically a mineral. But now silage field, it has been for the last 40 years, so I'm going to go down and switch it off when it's full.
Nice one there. Right now, Rachel Sherry.
You just see his tram lines are still there from when they put lime on. There's still some bits of lime on the floor. Yeah, I'm obviously taking a bit of a risk here. If there's lime still on the floor, that's not great because it should be washed into the soil. Because we have had a few showers of rain, but it's obviously not enough to wash the lime in. But I'm taking the risk now because I'm putting slurry on the field, which have left it a good enough period. I mean, 2.5 weeks is quite a while for the lime to sit on top of the ground and not go in. But if I run the risk of leaving this much longer without putting any slurry on, like I said before, this field is very wet. I'll just flip the camera around now and you can see. There's 2 wet patches down there. You can see where he got stuck when he was lime spreading. Just there. I mean, there's that bottom dark green bit, he didn't even attempt going through that, he told me. He told me when he's put lime on this, so you got standing water in that, but it's dried up now. If I run the risk of leaving this much longer without putting any slurry on, I run the risk of it turning wet, which they say is turning wet at the end of this week. That's why I'm putting the slurry on now. If it becomes wet, and we get a lot of wet weather, this field will never be dry enough to put slurry on again. So, you know, it's one of them. You've got to take the risk, or do I just leave it longer and then run the risk of not being able to get on it with any slurry? So it's one of them. But I'm just taking the risk now. If it ends up the lime doesn't do what we want it to do, and we soil test this field again, and the soil test still says it's acidy, we'll just end up having to put lime on it again. But one field out of 3 is not the end of the world. The other 2 are drier, so I can do them after it rains. You know, they shouldn't get too wet. But I'm going on the road now, so I'll switch my camera off. so just stopped now. We had a bit of silage. Where are we? There. Get stuck between the splash plate and the nozzle. But I just thought we'll just have a look on the floor, so you can still see bits of lime. So I'll flip the camera around, you can have a look. So there's pieces of lime here still. So that's a piece of lime. It's not really gone in. Seems quite a bit there. I mean, it's been on the ground now 2.5 weeks, so I'd have thought it might have done some good. Right, there's a lot of moss. A lot of moss, bit of chickweed there. You know, it's not good stuff really. We don't want that in grass. Really, what we need to do is, when we've mucked this, we need to get on this with the chain arrows and try and rip that moss out, and that, see if it'll rip any of them weeds out. I think grass arrows are probably a bit better than chain arrows. Don't know if anyone wants to let me know. I'm open to suggestions, but I've got a set of chain arrows. Would chain arrows rip that moss out as well as a set of grass arrows? So grass arrows have like long tines, so if my fingers represent the tines, they have long tines and they scratch the surface of the soil, whereas chain arrows, chains with linked together with like big like pointy things that go down, but there's probably less of them, but they're built more heavy duty, so they're probably better at levelling ruts off and what have you, and molehills, but not sure how well they're going to rip that moss out. But anyway, I need to get back tanking. Just thought I'd just show you the bits of lime on the floor, and yeah, there's quite a lot of moss. That's obviously not good, that. Day 2 of spreading slurry on this particular field. So we got 7 loads out yesterday. The muck was very thick, but we are coping alright with it. I've shot the drone up, so hopefully you've got some footage of the drone, hopefully. But you'll see that this field's got a very steep bank in it, and it's got a bank either side, so it's got like a hollow in the bottom, and that's where it gets wet. So it holds the water in the hollow, which isn't good. And then the gates at the bottom of the field in the hollow, so you've got to drive up each side of the field to get, you know, to drive up the bank on each side to get on to the top of the bank. So that's why we've got to do that for this field when it's dry. But yeah, we're making good progress. We are putting it on, we are in a gear higher, so normally I'm in, it's an 18-speed shift gearbox that's in this 399. So I'm normally in middle 1 rabbit, but now we're in middle 2 toy, so we've gone up like 1 gear. So just purely because it's getting a bit later in the spring now. So, you know, things are moving on. You don't need to put it on as thick, and I'd like to make it to the other side of the field with 1 load. So yeah, that's what we're doing. But I'm going on the road now, but as you can see, my windows are actually not very clean, but I'll open the door, hopefully you can see. So we've mucked all that side of the field, and we're up this side of the bank now. So we've done all the wet bit. So we've done the wettest part of this field. There is another wet spot actually on top, but I'm not too worried about that. You know, it shouldn't be that wet. But we're doing quite well. We've done 7 yesterday, 7 today, because it's actually 3rd day now. We've done another, so that's 6, and the other one, that makes it 7, so it'll be 21 loads when I've just done my last one for today. And then there'll probably be another 7 tomorrow. So it'll take me 4 days. It'll take me 4 days to do this field. But looking in the bottom, and there's a lot of chickweed coming through. There's a few ducks. There's quite a bit of chickweed. A lot of bare patches in the bottom. Now, what I would personally like to do is spray that chickweed and that ducks out like soon as possible, and then direct drill. You know, put some, you know, stitch some new seeds in. So we might do that, don't know yet. Personally, that's what I'd do. But first off, we've sorted the liming issue out, the soil pH. We need to sort the weeds out next. That's a second one, and then we can think about stitching some new seeds in, because you can't stitch new seeds in when weeds are already there, because weeds will smother them. So yeah, we'll have to. Well, at the minute we'll be just putting slurry on, so we'll just concentrate on the slurry at the minute, because it does want some slurry. Because there's no there. This is where the heifers grazed really late last back end, and they've literally left it nothing. There's no cover on it over winter at all. There's been nothing on it, which isn't a bad thing. But anyway, I need to crack on with slurry now.
To stop this world from spinning. Like Superman, you were the only one to find the strength in all that I was dealing with. This life like kryptonite. And if you keep me close, every minute in this hourglass you hold. So when I was falling, you moved the clouds to stop me from hitting the ground. And every goal there was a meaning, for this love ain't kryptonite.
trying to think of ways to you. Your voice stuck in my brain, we never got to see it through. And I know I feel more pain if we're speaking truth. Cause when the daylight comes, I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know. I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know. Looking back at our time, hoping that we did it right. And give me any reason to call you up late at night. And we know it's for the best, I won't put up a fight. Cause when the daylight comes, I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. Cause when the daylight comes, I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know.
today's problem is, well, it was happening a bit yesterday, but it's ending more of a problem today. The pipe keeps sucking to the bottom of the pit, so I've just propped it up there with a slurry stirrer, so it doesn't suck to the bottom. So it like sucks onto the bottom. So if like, I don't know, say this is the bottom of the pit, and it sucks to the bottom like that, they can't suck any muck off the concrete. But I'm just holding it there with a slurry stirrer, and it is loading. Well, we should be probably nearly full now. Right, so the problem we've got, well, I did say the problem we've got, the pipe sucking to the concrete at the bottom of the slurry pit, which isn't good because it's making the tanker work really hard. But it's having to work really hard at the minute because the tanker's like up here and the level of the slurry's all the way down on the floor. So the pump, which is there, the green, where are we? Help if I can point. So that thing there, the green thing, that's the vacuum pump. That's the basically without the slurry tankers. A slurry tank without a vacuum pump is pretty much useless. Purely because that's the guts of the machine, guts of the tanker. That is what's pumping them up. So it's making that work really hard, and it's having to build quite a lot of vacuum inside the tank to load with muck, because it's difficult. It's more difficult to load now than if the slurry pit was full, because if the slurry pit were full, the muck hasn't got to travel very far, but at the minute it's got to travel all the way from the bottom of the lagoon up the pipe and into the tanker. So it's gravity, it's fighting gravity basically, which is making it hard. It makes it probably like twice as long to load and more difficult to load, because it's better if it's thinner stuff at the bottom of the lagoon, but it doesn't work out like that. It's always thicker. So yeah, it's basically, that's one of the problems we're dealing with at the minute. So it's taking like twice as long to load, and it's making the vacuum pump work twice as hard. But hey, we're plodding on. We're in my second field now, so we've done a 24 acre field and we're now in a 10 acre field. I won't get it done today, and I won't get it done tomorrow because it's forecasting a lot of rain for tonight and tomorrow. So we're probably only going to get past this field done, but I'll probably end up leaving the video here and then catching up for another slurry video when we start up again. But hey ho, if I can get as much out as I can before it rains, that is a big plus. So anyway, I'm going on the main road now, so I'm going to put the camera down. Right, so that is my last load spread, so I'm going to call this the end of the video. We will do some more slurry, but we are going to have to do something about that crust in the slurry pit, all that hard, rough muck, because that can't stay there really, but we need to get that out. It's getting a lot of rain tonight. The advantage of that is we get some rainwater in the lagoon, and then we can have a bit more muck to suck out, and we make it a bit more pumpable, stir it up. Because there's the rest of this field to do, because I've not quite finished this. This wants another 4 or 5 load at least. So we can actually do another, the field next door, which is 10 acres, we need to do that. But we've done a 25 acre field and like 2/3 of a 10 acre field, so what's that? Over 30 acres, isn't it? Yeah, over 30 acres. So we've done, in the last 3 weeks, since the lagoon were full 3 weeks ago, which were brim full, we've done, let me work this one out. Right, so I've worked this out. So since it was brim full 3 weeks ago, or just over 3 weeks ago, we've pumped out, because we did another slurry spreading video, go back and see that, if you've not already seen that. But you'll have seen that we got exactly 80 load out. We've done a field of reseeded, which I didn't video doing any of that, so that's had about 10 load. So 10, we've had 132 loads we've got out since it was brim full. Obviously cows are in, so the cows are still filling the lagoon. All the cows are still in, everything's still inside. We've not turned anything out. We're not like some of these that have turned out already. We actually don't have any grass to do that, but we've got a 10-acre field that hasn't had any slurry at all this winter, and the rest of this field that wants some slurry. But then when I've done that, we've got everything's had some sort of slurry this winter. Then we can tackle that crust at the back of the lagoon. Hopefully we can do something with that, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood. But I'm going to end the video here. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I will see you in my next one. See you, bye.